Today I have a repair to make, and I need to do a few things. I need my pattern, I need my tapestry needles, and I like to use one that's a very different color to my yarn. So I'm going to use an orange tapestry needle with my green yarn. There's my tapestry needle, and you can see it will really show up against it, and there's the hole right above my tapestry needle that I need to fix. And then I also need my scissors, of course. And then the last thing I need is a crochet hook. So let's get started on fixing this. Okay, so here is my hole. I went ahead and I pinned 3 stitches, which you can kind of see, and I have my pattern ready. So I'm just going to try to get everything in the shot for you guys. Sorry, it took me just a little bit to kind of figure it out, but this is what I have to repair. This is the area that I can tell in my pattern needs to be fixed. So what I need to do is I need to figure out kind of which row I'm on before I can do my repair. So I can see here that I've got kind of 2 yarn overs there, 1 yarn over there, and then the row I need to fix should have had 2 yarn overs and then this sort of center decrease. And so what I need to do is figure out how to fix that. Okay, so I went ahead and I kind of fussed a little bit and repinned things to make it easier to find. So here I have my hole, and I think what happened was I just didn't get a slip knit fully like seated over a stitch, and eventually I think that pulled out. And so now I have to figure out where all of my original like rows should have been. I have to figure out where the yarn overs should have been, and I have 4 yarn overs that should have been in well, one of these rows. And once I do that, I went ahead and, remember, I got out the matching yarn, because that is the brilliant thing about keeping your leftovers, if you have leftovers, is that you can then go back in and repair. And so right now I'm just trying to kind of hook things back together, and I did pull all 3 stitches together here into this central stitch because I could see that there should have been a decrease, and then I was trying to get everything sort of pinned back out and hooked back up, so that now I've got my single stitch and my 2 yarn overs here. And then I can see a little bit better whether or not I still have my yarn overs. So I'm still missing my 4 yarn overs, kind of. I can see that maybe I still have 2 of them here, and maybe I don't. So this isn't going to be a perfect repair by any means, but it is at least going to look a lot better than just having a gaping hole in my piece. And we're going to actually tie this in so that it stops running in a little bit. So I'm just going to take my hook, and I am going to find sort of that next yarn that is in the next like row, and I'll pull it up with my hook and see what that looks like. So we'll pin that down, and okay, definitely looking closer to what it should look like. Much more similar to the one next to it. Still not quite right yet. So let me see what happens if I do this. All right, so much closer again, and you can kind of see that I've got my 4 yarn overs sort of in there now, kind of. But I still have some live stitches that I have to deal with. So what I do is I try to pull a couple of stitches together so that I can make that slip knit that, you know, didn't end up working out. And then at that point, no, it doesn't, well, it still doesn't quite look right. So let's try to tighten this up just a little bit. And that doesn't look too bad. All right, so let's hook that up there. All right, that's not a terrible fix. It's not perfect. I mean, I'm still missing like a yarn over somewhere, but I'm going to go ahead and thread up my tapestry needle at this point and just take those 2 stitches and kind of attach them to the rest of the fabric. And I'm actually going to make an overhand, just one overhand knot. I'm not going to do a full knot, like a square knot, just one overhand, and pull it down together so that it's nice and tight. And you can see, I mean, the color matches pretty well, and it's a little bit green on both sides, so I think that I can just weave that in, and it will look nice. So I'm going to go ahead and take my tapestry needle here and just weave in along my stitches. I am going to go ahead and do it on the front, not on the back, just because I've already got this pinned out and I can kind of see what I'm doing. And with the color and the way that this is a pretty intense pattern, it should just sort of blend in anyway. So I'll just go ahead and, yeah, right there. Yeah, that looks good. And I'm going to actually go ahead and trim those ends off because I do have this stretched out. So as soon as I get both of them put in, I'm just going to snip both of those ends and just go ahead and call this repair good because the color matches pretty well. The pattern is somewhat repaired. I mean, it's not a perfect repair by any means, but I've done a decent job, I think, at sort of pulling back together the lace elements. And on a casual inspection, I don't think most people are going to see this, especially with that sort of green and blue interplay of the sea silk, the handmaiden sea silk in, I think that was the Nova Scotia colorway. It's one of my favorites that they have, to be perfectly honest. I just love that blue and green combination. So, all right, here we go. I've got, yeah, almost enough. Let's just do, I'll just do one more little, there we go. So, maybe I'll just, one more little secure. There we go. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and just grab those scissors now and trim off my ends. I did leave just a teeny tiny bit of a poof so that it can work into the fabric, but there we go. It's repaired, and you know, it's not a perfect repair, you can see, but it's pretty good, and I'm happy with it. So, you know, like I said, casual glance, I don't think you're really going to notice. So it's not a perfect repair, but I think it's pretty good.